In 1937, John Logan, while on vacation in Alaska, met Clyde "Slim" Williams. Logan arranged to meet with the then 57-year-old Williams, and after explaining his interest in promoting a road link with Alaska, Slim asked Logan to be his partner on the proposed trip. At first, Logan hedged. "I'd never ridden a motorcycle, but I realized I'd never be able to live with myself if I passed up the opportunity." It turned out Williams hadn't either. "We'll figure it out," Williams assured him. Once agreed, both Williams and Logan began preparing for the unparalleled trip. Logan put money he had saved into the purchase of 2 carefully researched and modified British-made motorcycles. We chose small, single-engine machines because we knew we would be pushing, pulling, and rafting with them. We had plates welded on the bottom and handbrakes added so we would be able to have some control when walking the machines with the engines running. Of course, there were even fewer gas stations then, so we had racks with 2 gas cans each in the back. They began their trip on May 14th, 1939. The pair assembled maps and attached them to canvas for durability. They were also presented with a young Siberian husky named Blizzard. Logan and Williams didn't pack any special clothing or gear for themselves, using just the typical outdoor wear of the times. We did make sure we had mosquito head nets, Logan recalled. The mosquitoes were fierce. One day, I made a bet with Slim, who had big hands, over who could kill the most mosquitoes with one swat. I believe I won by getting 24 mosquitoes. After leaving Big Delta, Blizzard ran off, evidently spooked by the noise and smell of the motorcycles. About halfway between Healy Village and Chicken, one of the motorcycles the pair took on this rugged part of the trip failed. Narrowing their problem down to either the generator or the battery, the two removed the battery and set off for Chicken by foot, carrying nothing but their .22 rifle, an axe, and a small amount of food. Williams, who wandered throughout Alaska alone for decades without getting lost, indeed got lost, and with game then in short supply, the men also ran out of food. They lost track of the days because of so much daylight and overcast weather. When we got to Chicken, we reckoned it was June 22nd, but it was already the 24th, recalled Logan. Their second motorcycle, left off earlier in Big Delta, was flown to an airstrip near Chicken. Happily, Blizzard, who had been captured bumming a meal where they had stayed at Big Delta, was also reunited with the pair on the same flight. Blizzard was a great dog, recalled Logan, and a good companion, even if it did take him 2 encounters with porcupines to figure out to leave them alone. He was just barely full grown and a blue-eyed beauty. The going was a bit easier into Dawson and Whitehorse, although food was still scarce. One fellow gave us all the moose we could carry from one he had just killed, and we shot 2 caribou ourselves and even ate a couple of porcupines. Even so, Logan lost up to 17 pounds and William about 22. Logan recalled, "As Slim used to say in his lectures, we never missed a meal, but we got pretty far behind sometimes." There were some lean times during the trip when Logan and Williams foraged for anything edible, and Logan had a very close call. I ate some lily bulbs that were poisonous. They had a strychnine effect. I was unconscious for 12 hours, during which, Slim told me later, I was so stiff he could tip me up like a board. After somewhat recovering, Logan still was in no shape to manage the rugged ridges and muskeg that lay ahead. They considered building a raft, but although there were trees and they had their axe, they had no rope to hold the raft together. Just when things looked hopeless, Williams kicked a mound of moss and discovered the remains of a rotting sled. He found this sled just when we needed it, a 1 in a million chance. In one of dozens of examples of sourdough ingenuity, Williams was able to free the nuts, frozen in place by rust, by heating them in a fire until they glowed red, then tossing them into the cold stream nearby. Slim was able to just unscrew them with his fingers, said Logan, leaving us with 14, and I remember the number exactly, bolts that we were able to use to fashion one of the sturdiest rafts of the several we made during the trip. The bolts proved literally to be a godsend when we saw some white water ahead that dumped us a few times. Despite their limited cargo space and primitive conditions, Logan and Williams managed to take black and white photos and even color movies during their trip. They obtained some of the first color film footage shot of parts of Alaska and Canada. Their pictures and movies would later enhance Williams' lectures and public speaking engagements. With other setbacks, including many difficult rivers to cross and the onset of colder weather, it was early December of 1939 before Logan and Williams finally made it to Seattle. But when they did, they were hailed as heroes and later summoned to Washington, D.C. to testify about the success of their trip and their vision for a highway. Ironically, at first, no one could believe that the pair undertook the trip without monetary compensation or sponsorship. They couldn't believe we had just come up with the money ourselves. The driving force was that we simply wanted to demonstrate the feasibility of a highway. Logan paused and then said firmly, "I think we did, and I kind of hated to see it end."